July 2023. GBC at 88. Have you paid your TV license? If not, please, star 447 star 333 hash. And now to the big conversation of the morning: bullying in school. What is your experience? So a video of an incident at Disadel College has gone viral on social media. Video shows a student being bullied by another student. The Ghana Education Service has condemned the incident and suspended the student who was responsible for the bullying. Bullying is a serious problem in Ghana and is especially prevalent in high schools. Tradition of bullying in high schools in Ghana is unwanted, but it is unfortunately normalized, and this is because bullying is often seen as a way to toughen up students and prepare them for the challenges of life. However, bullying can have serious negative consequences for the victim, including physical, emotional harm, low self-esteem, and academic problems. There's another video that we have for you, this time from the northern region. This is of a teacher venting his anger on a student for not paying his extra classes fee. I'd like you to watch this. Marks on the back. And now to my guests. In the studio we have Mr. Gladstone Agbakpe. He's a clinical psychologist and a lecturer at Methodist University, Ghana. And also with me is Reverend Dr. Nana Yawusu Prempeh, the CEO of Tenaifa Group. And she's a regular on our show, which has to do with issues of counseling. On the phone we'll have Al-Hassan Seidu from Tamale, whose son we saw in the video being lashed by the teacher. As soon as I get the signal, we'll go through it straight to. Oh, we do have Mr. Seidu. Mr. Seidu, salam alaikum. Very sorry for what happened to your son. But can you tell us, give us a little more detail about what happened and why this teacher was assaulting your son in this way?
That is what baffles me. These students from Savulugu, he was scouted for by one sports teacher from the school. I didn't want him to go, but finally the mother, together with the child, they expressed that I should allow him to go. So I allowed him to go. They assured me as a sports guy, they will take care of him. Hello?
I'm right here. I'm listening to you, Mr. Seidu.
Yes. So he's very good in volleyball, and according to the school, he's an asset to the school. But it was just on the 25th night. That was around 1 o'clock. That's 26th. When I woke up and I saw this video footage, I was shocked. I couldn't even sleep. Even as I speak to you, my mouth is very bitter. If a parent should entrust his words to a school, and this is what the school will do to him. So I didn't understand. There was no any information why this was done to him. But I know some people around. I tried to find out, and it was based on the fact that he did not complete paying his extra classes fees, which is unacceptable. The child is not supposed to pay for anything. It is a parent. So if you have any cause of concern, call the parent. My contact number, my everything is with you. Why couldn't you call me? When the child was not attending to mosque, the imam called me, and the child was there. I admonished the child, and he continued. Why this one, the beating? And it is the teacher who has taken it upon himself. Because I have been in contact with the school authorities. The headmaster tells me he has set a committee, and they are working on it. So, right now, I have not been given any feedback yet. But this kind of bullying in the schools is a terrible thing, and something must be done for it. I am actually devastated about this attitude of that teacher. They call him Safo Kantanka. I'm sure it's a nickname to him. That's what I know. The assistant headmaster academic is saying he is so aware. They have not assigned him to do such a thing. So how come in front of the class the child has been traumatized? He's a final year student. How is he going to cope up with the exam? With this stigma, everybody pointing fingers at him. He was the one being caned in class. This was done yesteryear, but this time, I think government has put an end to caning, let alone bullying. So I don't know why this thing happens. It still baffles my mind, and I want to find out from the authorities what happened. The teacher must be dealt with.
What have the authorities told you with respect to the investigation? How long is it supposed to last for you to get some feedback? I
am saying the school authorities have not given me any feedback yet.
What is your next line of action, Mr. Seidu?
Well, if I am not given any satisfactory feedback, well, I have worked with GES. I was the regional HR for Northern Region. I retired. So headquarters, the ministry, they are all there. And if things don't go well, I will report this issue to I'll find a lawyer and then I will find out what we can do about that. Because this thing cannot go scot-free.
I'm glad you told us that you worked previously with GES. What are the policies that the GES have with respect to teachers beating students and then bullying on campuses? What are the policies?
Well, as now, I know it's raining, so I want to relocate.
Please relocate. So that's Mr. Al-Hassan Salifu, who is the father of a gentleman who was severely whipped in class by a teacher who was demanding answers for why some extra tuition fees were not paid. And this was happening in the Northern Region. So Mr. Salifu, can you hear me now? So while Mr. Salifu is relocating, Mr. Salifu, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
What are the GES policies with respect to teachers administering corporal punishment to children and then bullying?
I think that has been abolished a long time, and every parent, everybody in Ghana is aware of that. It's unacceptable. It should not be done. And then taking of unauthorized fees from students is unacceptable.
How's your son doing?
How is he doing?
Yes, how's your son?
Well, he's over there at Beposu, Ghana Muslim Mission Senior High School. I don't know how he's faring. Though I have contacted him, he seems to be down.
Yeah, and I guess definitely he'll probably feel down as a result of this.
So all measures, I don't want any intimidation from the authorities or from the campus. Nobody should intimidate them. If they are going to do their investigation, there shouldn't be any intimidation. The students should be able to speak out.
Right.
What actually happened? If this was my student, if my ward had committed a crime in the school, at least there are disciplinary procedures.
I understand you perfectly. What's the name of?
There are laid down procedures.
Yes,
I have been senior house master in it for 10 years. So I have sat on different, and we normally will invite parents to come.
Indeed. So just give us details. So which school is your son attending? Where did this happen?
It is in Ashanti region, Ghana Muslim Mission Senior High School, Beposu.
Okay. Ghana Muslim Mission Senior High School, Beposu, in the Ashanti region. And so the teachers are telling you that, the authorities are telling you that there's an investigation, but you don't know when the investigation will end. Is that correct?
Yeah, they are investigating. And I don't know. They have not given me, even yesterday until the evening time, I had a call from one teacher. Nobody called. This should be of concern to them. And you know it's a serious matter. They know very well that it's a serious matter. So they should even be following me up to see how best we could solve the problem. But there was silence. If you told me the whole day you are on a committee, you have set a committee and you are working on it, at least give me a gist of what is happening. Even tell me, just call to tell me, this is the crime your son committed.
And you are saying that you only found out about this on social media?
Pardon me?
You only found out about this whipping of your son on social media?
Me through WhatsApp.
Oh, somebody sent it to you?
Yeah, to me through WhatsApp. And there was no any information apart from just the beating and the yelling of the child. That's all. So I sent the information to the headmaster, the assistant headmaster academic. And in fact, they were also furious and that they were working on it. So at least I should have been given some briefing as of the close of yesterday. But I didn't get that information.
Finally, what would you like?
And I also have my senior men.
Yes.
I had to inform them.
I'm really sorry about what happened to your son, and of course, how you must be feeling as a parent. I can just totally identify with you. Is there anything you would like to say before I let you go?
Well, as a teacher, I'm advising teachers still in active service. These same children you are teaching are the very people you are training to become what you want Ghana to be in the future. Because the way we train them, that will be the way Ghana will be. If we use hostile or brutal means to train them, those who will become teachers will also want to implement it. So teachers should avoid such things. Corporal punishment. There are so many other means of punishing a student. And the punishment should be beneficial and not injurious to the body.
I thank you so much.
Your own children are elsewhere and people are teaching them. If somebody does this to your child, how will you feel? So my colleague teachers in the service, please do well. Handle our children. They are your own children. They are your quasi children. They are your children. They will come out, and whatever you have implanted in them, you will reap it.
I don't know if any of my guests have any questions for you. We have a clinical psychologist here and a counselor, Mr. Gladstone Agbakpe. Have any questions for Mr. Salifu, whose son has been assaulted like this?
Thank you for the opportunity. I don't have a question, but I would rather want to suggest that he seeks the services of a clinical psychologist, a counselor, to help the boy.
Please, I can't hear him.
Please raise your voice.
Well, what I'm suggesting is you seek the services of a counselor or a clinical psychologist to help the boy. Physically, the wounds, the bruises will heal. But psychologically, what he has gone through equally needs healing. So seek the services of a clinical psychologist or a counselor.
Okay.
I'm so grateful, and I thank whosoever assisted to get this thing over to your outreach.
Our place. Okay.
And I hope you also follow it up to find out how conclusive it will be.
Yes. And before you go, I think Reverend Dr. Nanaya will
yes. Good morning, sir. And I just extend my honest sympathies. I mean, how is your wife feeling about this? And if you have any other children, how are they feeling about it?
Yes, I have a child at Winneba. He told me, Dad, this thing you can't gloss over it. You must take action. Then another one at the UDS. They are not happy. The mother nobody in the family is happy. Even outsiders cannot be happy because a child is a child for everybody. Just as you are expressing your concern, and you are putting it into the public domain for people to see what is happening in our senior high schools, it's terrible. Maybe this is just the tip of the iceberg. Where things are happening, the children are intimidated. They are warned not to stop. And I also plead that Government should allow the students to use the phone. It is the phone that will unearth these happenings in the schools. If not because somebody took this, how could we have known?
Yes.
I know phone has its negative and then negative aspect, but we should encourage them to use the positive.
I thank you so much, Mr.
Thank
Salifu.
you, my brother.
Thank you very much. And so this was a case that occurred at Ghana Muslim Mission Senior High School, Beposo. And it involved this teacher really going at it hammer and tongs on the back of this poor student. And we will follow this up and make sure that we get the results of the investigation. We'll make our checks with GES to make sure that they are in full knowledge of what's going on. And so that brings us to, it's part of our conversation on bullying in school. What's your experience? Dr. Nanaya Osu-Prempeh, Counselor, CEO of T-NIFA Group, and Mr. Gladstone Agbakpa, who is a clinical psychologist. I'll start with the clinical psychologist. So, what's the effect of bullying on the psyche of the one who is bullied?
Well, the one who is bullied goes through a lot of psychological effects. You could have the person having fear. You can also have the person having anxiety. There are times where it results in what we call the post-traumatic stress disorder, panic attack. You see the one who bullies you and all of a sudden your heart starts beating. It affects your academic performance, as you mentioned. It has a long-lasting effect on people forming relationships later in their life. A whole lot. So psychologically, it's very disturbing when one is bullied.
Nana?
Yes, well, first let me say good morning to the cherished viewers of GTV. I miss all of you, and I want to also appreciate those who came to mourn with me when I bid farewell to my mother. The team from the Breakfast Show, I'm grateful. I see bullying as domestic violence, but on a different setting. You know, anyone who lacks confidence, anyone who has social imbalance, anyone who has inferiority complex, finds another person as a victim to bully. And even those who cannot study well, who have difficulties in the academic process, they think they can exert their energy on their colleagues who are doing better, or things like that. Just like my brother said, the psychological effect can be long-term. And if you see the one who initiates the bullying, you feel like you are diminishing inside your body. I know when I was in my secondary school, I was very tiny. And you know when you, excuse me, when you go to the senior high school, those days, the secondary school, you are put through the humanizing experience. And we used to call it homoing. It's the same thing. But now the homoing has subsided and we use more of the bullying.
Violence.
And the homoing was dignified. Sometimes they make it a scene where seniors will gather and they will put you in the middle and they will actually abuse you and humiliate you. And these things have long-lasting effects even on the person establishing a relationship, and it goes into marriage. And now the bullies, the people who are bullying others, are victims of bullying from the past. And this cycle goes into domestic violence. If you look or you do a little research, you will see that men who are beating their wives or women who are insulting or abusing their husbands have been victims of bullying one way or the other, either through a friendship setup or academic setup in the past. So the effect is it's too serious, and it comes to affect the children who also start bullying. It's a cycle. And so I believe that GES must step in, the administrators and management of the institutions must step in. There have to be policies that are enforced. and people who see it and they don't say anything, they are equal bullies.
So if you see something, say something.
Absolutely. Those who are recording this, if you record and you keep the recording,
then you are
party to it. Yes, you are part of it. You are an active part of it. So for us to reduce, I don't know if we can eliminate bullying.
Can we have cameras do we have CCTV cameras in dormitories?
Dormitories
or in schools?
No,
or in classrooms?
Classrooms are allowed. Hallways are allowed, but not dormitories. Because dormitories are private.
This guy could have been killed. A disco boy. Did you see his legs were off the ground?
Yeah.
And he was in a chokehold?
Coffee, when I was watching that video, my stomach was turning. I have 4 children. My stomach was turning. How can you allow, look at this. He is chokeholding him. He wants to kill him. And I think this is a criminal case.
Yeah, it's an assault case.
Yes, it's an assault case because there is the mens rea, there's the actus reus. So he just planned and did it. And look at all those who are watching. They are culprits because it looks like they've been doing it to others. But this one was captured. So I know that the GES is working with the institution. They should really put a stop to this by starting with action on this young man. I've heard that he's been suspended. I don't know if suspension is enough. Maybe they should dismiss him. And I also hear that he's supposed to be writing his BCE soon. They should give him the opportunity to write it, maybe in the jailhouse or something. He should write it.
I understand he's going to be writing the BEC, but within the WAEC premises under supervision. The guy who the victim will write it, I think, on campus. So he will write it, but he will, under special circumstances.
This gentleman must be used as a scapegoat. I mean, if I were GES and we want to make a statement, he's a juvenile, but he's acting as an adult. So they have to use him to make a statement to all those children who are within the schools, bringing other people's children into occultism, putting them through drug abuse and trying drugs. It's somebody who leads another person to try the drugs. And they form a cartel within the institutions. These children are young, but they are acting as adults. So they must be treated as adults.
Mr. Agbakwa, are we putting the sins of the adults on the children? Is our society just not a violent society and the children are just learning what they are exposed to? They are learning from what they are exposed to?
Well, the fact is this, that children often learn from us as parents. So as you rightly said, they are actually learning what we have practiced. Bullying has always been there. You went to school, I went to school. We've been bullied. My father was bullied. So bullying has always been there. But it's a bit aggravated these days. Why? Because our children have actually copied from us and they are now adding their own skills, their own techniques to it. So there are certain paradigms of bullying you've not experienced. Our children are now exacting onto their colleagues.
That chokehold looks like a WWE. You know, it looked like
the George Floyd issue.
Exactly. I really thought the guy was going to be suffocated.
Yes.
That's what I was thinking. I said, they're going to kill this guy. They're going to kill this guy, you know.
It was unfortunate. Very unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate. And we need to learn through social learning, through psychoeducation, to tolerate each other.
What is psychoeducation?
Education that tells us certain skills in life. Take, for instance, we need to be tolerant. We need to realize that human beings as we are, we differ. And so we should accept individual differences. If I happen to act in a specific way that you don't like, I happen to come to school as a junior, I am a person with rights, I am a person different from you. Therefore, even if you want to initiate me to school, it should be a bit humane. I went to Kitasco, I follow up to Commonwealth, and the mention of the word Commonwealth, I believe you know.
I'm a vandal.
There are times where you are bullied, you are initiated to school by being ponded in a pond. I'm not a swimmer. It can even result in death.
Yes, it can. Very violent.
So,
slamming on the water.
We can initiate newcomers to school, but let's learn a lot of some humane way of doing it, rather than these cruel types of initiating people to school as newcomers. It become a culture. It will be there forever.
Yeah.
But let's modify it a bit to have some humane way of initiating newcomers to school.
Nana, did you go to girls' school?
I went to Temasco. It's a mixed school.
What was it like in terms of bullying? What was the worst thing that happened to you in secondary school as a junior?
You know what? My memory for those things are faint because I keep positive things in my mind more than dehumanizing and negative things.
Which means it was bad and you were pushing it out.
I think that the experiences in the bathrooms is what really disgusts me. You know, when we were all sharing the same bathroom, the toilet facilities, you will be there. Somebody who thinks they are bigger than you will come and stand behind the door. Come out and, you know, get out and let me come.
While you are doing your thing.
While you are doing your number two. You know what I'm saying? And you know, and those things will stick in your head. This person doesn't want me to be comfortable. Because that is the only thing that I believe for me. And I have very dark lips. My seniors said I was a smoker. My lips are naturally dark. And they formed a circle and put me in the middle that I should confess
that you smoke.
That I smoke. And I thank God for the Scripture Union because that was my safe haven. I ran to the Scripture Union so that they would not see me around to bully me. So as I was kneeling down there, I started praying. Because I'm not a smoker. I can't even do it. You know, but because of my dark lips. And seniors will put pressure on you. Some of them will kick you. Some of them will slap you.
These are girls?
Yes, the girls' dormitory. You know, but for me, I was a very tough cookie. I wasn't crying. When they do it and you start crying, they will do it the more. But when they do it and I don't cry, when they were near you know, and things like that. But
did it affect you? I mean, looking back now, are you doing certain things because of the way you were treated in secondary school?
I became tougher. I stood to face. If my senior says, wake up at this time, fetch me water, bring me this, I do it quickly, then I run away.
Because you don't want to be punished?
No, I don't want to be punished. I do it. So I think that training made me become more responsible. But the fear, just like my brother was saying, the fear that it puts in you when a particular senior starts to kick you with the leg, kick you, you know, and try to, like, they like you, but they are training you. I haven't been brought to the school for you, my senior, to kick me, to train me.
Do you see some of these people who terrorized you?
Yes, yes.
Do they remember what they did?
I'm sure one of them may be watching me now. Hi, thank you for kicking me in the butt. You know, but funny enough, Tafi, funny enough, most of the people who bully in schools, they don't end up very well. No, they don't. The majority of them struggle in life more than the people they bullied.
Karma is working?
Oh, yes. And I think that, well, God's eyes are watching everyone. And when you are bullied, most of the time you are very vulnerable. And God is the father of the vulnerable. He makes sure that things that people think you cannot do, they don't want you to do, He helps you, He supports you. That's why people say that when God knows that there's a blind man, He always creates someone who will hold his hand.
Okay.
So people who have been bullied, if they get help in time, they come out better.
Okay.
If they don't get help, it can affect their psyche, their confidence, and they will think nobody loves them.
Let me bring in Gladstone. So she's talking about her experience. What was your experience in Getasco, Jolali? Were you bullied?
I was bullied.
Any memory?
There are three specific ways I was bullied that I remember vividly. The first is what we call inspection, where seniors come around. The first thing they open is your chopbox. And all the goodies in it. The milk, the Milo, the Gary, they take all of it. And they will tell you, genius don't eat in school. You come to learn. Therefore, you're not supposed to bring food. So they take all your goodies in the chop box.
How did you feel when that happened to you?
You feel angry.
Did
Here
feel like
you
fighting
are, a
back?
fresh student in school. Probably you're not used to the food cooked in the dining hall. And the only thing you can fall on is your food in the chop box. Gentlemen have actually packed all of it. How will you feel? Angry. But there's nothing you can do because it's power play. Seniors are acting.
Who are these doing this? Form 5 boys, Form 3 boys?
Form 5, Form 6.
Sixth
I went to
Sixth form
Kitasco where we had the sixth form system and the O-level
So
system.
the Form 5 boys came for your food?
There are times where we have the sixth form in school, there are times we have O-levels. And there are times we have even SS students as SS3. So they are equally seniors. So we had 3 categories of seniors punishing us, bullying us.
So the food confiscation was one.
That is number 1.
Number 2.
Number 2 is always on Saturday mornings where we have to wash. Seniors will decide we're going to punish the first year students. Therefore, they pile dresses. Seniors are allowed to wear jeans, etc. You know how heavy jeans is.
Oh, jeans.
And so those days, we equally don't wash anyway. We just dip in the water, go and dry on the dry sand. And when the sun actually hits so well, in the afternoon you go and take it. It's as if you've ironed it. We learned the bad way to respond to.
So you didn't put much effort into washing of the jeans?
Not at all. A lot of us juniors at that time, we never washed the jeans.
You
The
soak
normal school uniform we wash.
You soak the jeans in the water?
We soak the jeans in the water. You know, Keta is full of sand,
Yes.
fresh sand.
Yes.
So we go and dry it on the sand instead of the line. And so it becomes so stiff as if you've ironed it, so neat, sort of.
You give it back to him.
A bad way of doing things because of bullying.
You're responding to the bullying.
Exactly.
What was the third one?
The third one was during siesta. For certain specific days, juniors dare not lie on their bed. We have to be on our knees.
During
This
siesta?
is just a way of seniors trying to intimidate juniors in the dormitory.
So your
Siesta
siesta
time
is
where
spent
we're
on your knees?
supposed to be sleeping, specific times, we'll be on our knees. We will
For how
not
long?
sleep.
How long?
10 minutes, 15 minutes per what the senior prefers to do. And so these 3 very specific ways of bullying I remember very well. And remember, bullying, the intention is to hurt, to intimidate, to let you feel you are not powerful, you are powerless. There's nothing you can do. And sometimes the act is so physical, sometimes the act is so subtle. I leap on my leg. And so do who smile, who walk like me, vividly for me to see in a way of teasing me. They are equally there.
Oh, they would
So
do that.
it's so serious.
They would mock your limb.
If you like interview people who are physically challenged, they are bullied in a lot of subtle ways. Stammerers. How many of us haven't experienced a stammerer being
Yeah.
copied
Yeah.
by somebody just to hurt the person? It's out there. But because we are limiting our bullying to school, that's why we're limiting a lot of the things we know.
Thank you for going back into your memories and sharing your experiences. We want to now broaden the conversation to those who are watching, those of you who are watching. I'm talking about you, yes. So this is the number. It's 0543 664 264. It's on your phone. It's on your screen. 0543 664 264. Bullying in school, what's your experience? Share. And then after sharing the experience, please provide some solutions. Okay, so let's have a solution-oriented conversation. 0543 664 264. Nana, how do we solve it?
You know, the solution has to start with one person at a time. That's why I'm saying the GES must be involved in the solution of this case, which has become viral.
That this adult case.
That discourse case, yes. But you see, when you and my brother, what's the first?
Gladstone.
Gladstone. That's-
And his last name is Agbakwe. Be practicing it. Well, let me go and speak to Joseph. Joseph, hello.
Agbakwe.
Yeah, man. Joseph, hello. Good morning. Kwashima. Please turn the volume on your TV to 0. Yes, thank you so much. Go ahead. Joseph, I'm going to cut you off if you don't turn the volume on your TV to 0.
Sir, good morning.
Morning.
From Kwashiman. I think bullying is not all that bad. It puts a little of fear to the children so that they can depart from that bad thing. but we have to get some measures for it. Because I don't think, in the Bible, it's in the Bible, we have to actually punish the children and leave it to learn something, I think. That's what I can say.
Bullying is in the Bible. Give me the verse and give me the verse. Give me the verse in the Bible where it says bullying is there. Joseph, I was going to challenge you to quote the verse for me. Where in the Bible does it say bullying is allowed? 0543. There's a Bible scholar here. Don't quote anything that we can't back up. 0543 664 264. What are the solutions? Bouncing off this Adisco case, how do we solve it? Okay, so you said it starts one person at a time.
Yes, it has to be one person at a time. And when you guys were talking about Vandals and Commonwealth and things, what you use the name for it.
Yes.
What do you call that?
It's serious ponding.
No, you mentioned the name. Shaboro. Okay, so you see, these same students, if you want to eliminate the Shaboro, they will not allow you. And their sons and their daughters will be bullied. So we have to come to the place of owning the decision.
Own the decision.
Yes.
Let's go to Tema, your favorite place. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Yes, what's your name? What do you want to say about bullying in school?
Yes. Yeah, my name is Dennis.
Yes, go ahead.
From Tema.
Go ahead.
Speaking from Tema.
He's listening.
Yes, so I can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah. I want to contribute to the bullying.
Contribute.
My concern is that bullying is something to see it in different categories. Sometimes all the bullies may go in a way to direct a child to know how to go. But this particular one is too much.
Thank you.
Simply because what he is doing.
He's listening to himself.
All right. Well, I have a problem with that because where do you say enough is not enough? I mean, kneeling down for 10, 15 minutes, what does that teach you? Stealing my food, what does that teach me? Getting me to wash your clothes. Why can't you wash your clothes? You know? All of that stuff is negative. It doesn't take you anywhere. And it just creates bad memories for people. I still remember the guy who put me under his bed, and I had to fan somebody overnight, the whole night, just fanning him. Me and a squad of fanners were fanning this guy for about 4 hours.
But you see, people who are doing it, they are getting some satisfaction.
Yeah, we'll talk to the psychologist about what satisfaction people get from inflicting torture on other people. But let's go to the phone lines. Hello, good morning. Hello. The lines are messing with us. Who is bullying the lines? Stop bullying the lines. Gladstone. So what kind of satisfaction do people get from inflicting pain on other people?
All right. Before I answer you, there is something I have to correct. There is punishment. There is bullying.
Exactly.
Punishment. The intention is to correct a bad behavior. But bullying, the intention is to show you are less powerful.
Exactly.
The intention is to hurt you.
Yeah.
The intention is to let you know I can do. You can't do foco. Excuse my language. And so if somebody is punishing with the intention of correcting a bad behavior, what GES and all of us are against, it's what we call the corporal punishment, where you go so physical.
Yes, like what the
that
teacher
you
was
are
doing.
actually hurting the victim.
Like what the teacher was doing.
Exactly.
Let's go to Ahafo. So we've got that distinction now between punishment and bullying. Frank from Ahafo, good morning.
It's very annoying to me. It's very, very bad. If it is to me, I'll come to the school street and beat the guy.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? The teacher?
That's my contributions.
Frank, before you go, what were you talking about? Frank is really, really angry. Yeah, he's emotional.
Frank can be your
yeah, he said it and then he's gone, right? Yeah. So there's a difference between bullying and punishment. And we should get that straight.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, what they did to you, taking your food, getting you to kneel down, washing people's clothes. What crime did you commit for all those things to happen?
The intention is to show you are powerless. We are the powerful. Power play. That is basically bullying. They are not correcting anything in me, any bad behavior of mine. But people do some of these things. Why? Because of the reasons. Somebody will bully you because he's angry. Somebody will bully you because he feels inferior and needs to feel good himself. Somebody is bullying you because he is jealous. Somebody is bullying you because a culture has been established that seniors should be seen doing this. Why? Because a senior has done that. So if you don't do it, you are keeping the debt. You should also give it to somebody.
Yes.
There are so many reasons why people will bully. And just like human beings, when you like something, you desire something, you have it, you are doing it, you are so happy. It's the same way with what? Bullying.
Is there a helpline? Can people get help anywhere? How do people reach out if they need help? Because it has problems.
Well, the Ghana Psychological Council has a contact where my colleagues are available to help anybody who has gone through some traumatic experience, some negative experience, that needs some coaching, some psychoeducation, some psychotherapy, some counseling to be able to overcome. So I know Ghana Education Service is trying to employ some counselors into various schools. They are there to help, but all the schools don't have one. So we should still have the contact with Ghana Psychological Association, Ghana Psychological Council, because we have people who have volunteered to help support people who experience these negative experiences.
Thank you so much. That's Gladstone Agbakpe, who's a clinical psychologist, and he says, listen, go and Google Ghana
Ghana Psychological Council,
Ghana Psychological Association. You will get the help that you need to go get over this bullying. The Reverend Dr. I'll leave you the last word. What would you reach out to people to say? I mean, that's hopeful. Those who are victims of bullying and those who are doing the bullying, what do you have to say?
I think that the fear of God must be restored into the schools, into our personal lives. When you have the fear of God, you don't hurt someone else. These children are acting out of lack of knowledge, lack of wisdom, and the Bible says that the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. So we need to restore the children into the things of God.